have made it to day 4 of the Kickstart Your Arthritis Adventure Challenge, and I just first wanted to congratulate you for showing up for yourself yet another day, willing to go through another workout to better the health of your joints and tackle this arthritis pain without having to go through risky surgeries, procedures, etc. So I am so grateful that you're here with me and taking action. Action is one of the most important things when it comes to finding arthritis pain relief that lasts. And if you're wondering, okay, after this, I'm feeling pretty good. After these 4 days, my joints actually feel good. So what's next? At the end of this workout, so after we get through this workout, I do have a special offer for you because this is the end of this challenge, but it is not the end of your journey and should not be the end of your journey. This is just the beginning. So I do have something for you at the end, but we have to make it through this workout in order to get that special offer. Okay, and another main message for today is that adventure has no age limit, and I want that to stick with you. You don't have to sell yourself short just because you feel like you're getting older or that you have arthritis. Adventure has no limit. You can adventure in a way that you want to. Maybe we have to make some modifications, or maybe we have to just change a few things, but don't sell yourself short and don't make your goals small just because you have arthritis. And this is one of the main messages here at Keep the Adventure Alive. And so I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as we are going through our next strength training workout. So in video 3, we did introduce some weights and introduce some movements. Now we are going to take those just a little step further. So you will need 2 weights and also a chair, likely the same chair you used in the last video, something that you can stand up and down from fairly easy. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So all I want you to do just to start out is I just want you to go into a march, just a very simple forward march. And now we're just going to take that march just to the side. So all I want you to do is take forward and backward steps to the side. And now, last direction, all I want you to do is now you're going to take that step forward and back, forward and back. Again, we are all about variety here, and that's what can unlock true joint pain relief, is moving in different ways. It's very simple, but is missed probably about 9 out of 10 times when we're looking for exercise for arthritis. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now I just want you to take your arms and you're gonna open them up to the side and come back. You're gonna open them up to the side and come back. Try to keep them parallel with the ground. If this is not comfortable for some reason, go ahead and take them lower. That is going to be a little bit more comfortable if for some reason we can't keep our arms straight out to the side. All you're doing is just focusing on squeezing those shoulder blades together in the back. Squeeze, squeeze. Let's just do 3 more. Start warming up those shoulders. 2 more. And last one. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it just into a standing mountain climber. So this one you're gonna do opposite arm, opposite leg, up and down. As always with any of these movements that we do, you can have a chair handy if you do need some support, or be in front of a wall, have someone watching you, use a kitchen counter. Safety is always key and can be helpful, especially if you're having a flare-up or just increased pain today. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I want to start with something first before we pick up these weights. You're gonna actually have a seat in your chair. Now, this is one of my absolute favorite exercises and one thing I really want you to master. Okay, first we're just gonna do a couple of warm-ups just to kind of get our legs moving. So all I want you to do is take your leg out, one leg out straight, and I just want you to lift it up and down a few times. And now I just want you to hold it at the top, squeezing that thigh muscle as hard as you can. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then relax. Just one more on the side. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. This is one thing I do like to do before doing any type squatting movements, and I want you to switch to the other side and up and down. Now this next movement I'm going to show you, once you can master this, you can unlock lots of pain relief, especially if your knees are bothering you and hips. I mean, low back too, but if you can master this next exercise, stairs are going to become easier, hills are going to become easier, and even just walking is going to become easier. Hold this one up for just 3, 2, 1, and then drop it down, and one more, lift up. So I really want you to focus on mastering this next one. Okay, now, caveat being, this is not going to be easy, especially the first couple times that people try this. So if you try this and they're like, I don't know about this, that's okay, because that's the number one reaction I typically get. But then once you get the rhythm of it, then you're doing pretty well. Okay, so I want you to take the leg that you feel more confident in. And so say that's my left leg. So I'm gonna take my left leg and I'm gonna bend it backwards just a little bit, just to wherever is comfortable. And I'm gonna actually take my right foot out front, straight, just like we just did in the exercise. But now what I want you to do is I want you to put that foot on the floor. So your feet are just in a staggered position. If you need to, you can use your arms at least for the first couple repetitions while you get used to this. But what I want you to do is keep your feet right where they are and try to stand up like this. So you're just gonna stand up. Again, sit down the same way. The further back this front foot is, so if I bring this back, it's gonna make it a little bit easier. The further out, when it's straight and the toes are pointed up, the harder it is, because you're essentially, this is a modified single leg squat, but I want you to find the variation where you feel comfortable with this. Even if it's almost that they're just staggered just a little bit, to be able to stand up and down. I want to try 5 on this side, and then we're going to switch and do 5 on the other side. You can raise the surface, so you can raise your chair height with a pillow or a cushion if this does not feel comfortable to you. Again, some discomfort is okay. Sometimes it can be hard to differentiate what pain is okay and what pain you should be pushing through and what pain is your body saying, hey, let's modify this. And in that special offer at the end, we do go through that in depth, because that's one of the biggest things that I find. Once you can get a handle on that, that can make a huge difference. Okay, that was 5. Now I want you to switch to the other side. And one of the things I want you to look out for is if one side feels harder than the other, or maybe one side you have to pull back a little bit. So here we go. Let's try it again. Find a position that feels comfortable for you. Now again, you can have it all the way straight. This is the most advanced to the easiest, which is just having your feet a little bit staggered. And we're doing, let's say 5 more here. Lift up and down. Lift up. The idea is to be able to do this without needing to push off, but if you need to push off, that is okay. And then let's just try 1 more here. So then stand up and then sit down. If you thought that, wow, that was really hard for me to do, even if it was just hard on one side, this is something I want you to focus on mastering, and focus on the leg that maybe was a little bit more challenging. So that, go ahead and stand up from there. And you can move the chair out of the way, just make sure that you're not going to trip on it. And I want you to actually grab both of your weights. Now, you want to be in about, I would say 5 pounds is always a good place to start, but you can increase as you feel able. Okay, so what you're going to do with these weights to start is you're going to just slightly bend over, just a little bit. So what I'm doing is sitting my hips back. You're going to have both of those weights just right out in front of you, kind of right next to your thighs. And you're going to just pull those weights back towards your hips. We're not going up like this. You're pulling them back towards your hips, squeezing those shoulder blades together. And we're going to hang out here for 8 more. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, I just want you to hang on to the weights just in a comfortable position. What I'm going to do is stand on my right side, and I'm going to step forward and backwards with the left. So you're essentially putting all your weight just on one leg. You're stepping forward and back. If you do need balance, you can drop one weight. And I would drop the weight that's in the hand that the foot that you're stepping on. So stepping with. So if I needed some support, I would keep my weight in the foot that's not moving. And this is because sometimes, I want you to keep going, but this is because sometimes, especially if you have hip arthritis, low back arthritis, just have problems putting all of your weight on one leg, sometimes you kind of get a little bit of a limp. So what this does is it's gonna even you out a little bit going this way. If your limp is on the side that you're stepping on, you can move to the other side where it's gonna pull you a little bit to the opposite side. It's however your body's responding. We just wanna be as upright as possible. And we have 3, 2, and 1. If you drop one of those weights, I want you to go ahead and pick that back up. Now, what I want you to do is you're gonna put both weights right out in front of you. We're gonna go into that deadlift, so we're gonna bend our knees slightly. You're gonna reach back, like I said, I like to use the wall. Reach back with your hips, touch the wall, and now you're gonna squeeze up and pull those weights up. Down, lead with your elbows, so we're not coming this way, and come up. Lead with your elbows. Notice I'm not going down very far, and this is a very controlled motion. You should really feel this in your glutes. Squeeze and pull. Now, a lot of times when we combine these movements, so moving upper body and lower body, that's when we start to get our heart rate up a little bit, like we were talking about in the first video. And then when you add some weight, it really starts to increase the intensity. I'll show you from this side. For the last few, let's do 5 more. You're coming down to about the knee, squeezing up using your hips. Feel it in the backs of your legs, in your shoulders. 3, 2, and last one. 1. Okay, so now you're gonna switch on the stepping and you're gonna stand on the other side. So for me, I'm gonna stand on my right side, and now I'm going to step and come back with the left. Now, if you're using 2 weights, this just increases your body weight, increases the resistance. So if you can master stepping with 2 weights, so for me, adding 20 pounds, then it carries over into, then your joint is much more able to handle stepping without the extra added weight and carrying over to walking and those sorts of things. It's also a little bit of balance. Keep going, let's do 10 more here. Hang on to those weights however you feel comfortable. Also working grip strength a little bit too, which is important if you have arthritis in your hands. It's important to keep those hands strong. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, perfect. Now what I want you to do is you're gonna put both the weights up by your shoulders. I want you to think about taking your bottom from kind of sticking out, tuck it underneath. So squeeze your glutes. And now I just want you to alternate, bringing one leg up at a time into a march. And I want you to think about pulling up those legs with your core muscles. And keep going. Pull up those legs with your core muscles. Try not to arch. That's the pattern we're trying to get out of. Try to tuck underneath and march. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now, I want you to take your feet out just a little bit slightly outside the shoulders. Okay, now this one you may need to use lighter weights, and that is okay. What I want you to do is bring those weights right out in front of you, and all you're gonna do, get down just in a little bit of a squat. So that sumo squat that we had in the earlier video, now what I want you to do is you're just gonna punch straight out. Now this is actually a core exercise too. You should feel your thigh muscles engaged, your glutes engaged, and I want you to think about squeezing your glutes so you're not arching your back this way. Keep it nice and stable. So one way you can do this is by using a wall if you're having a hard time with this, and try to make your whole lower back touch the wall and stay in contact with the wall. I'm not leaning back on it, but I'm trying to keep my lower back pressed against the wall. This is super, super important if you have hip arthritis or low back spine arthritis. This is absolutely crucial. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Okay, I want you to actually set one of those weights down for exercise, and that is just going to be used with one weight. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold the weight just up by your shoulder. Okay, now you're going to press overhead. So I just want you to press straight up, come back down, and you're going to bring that weight down with you. Same movement that we did in the beginning, where you're going to lead with your elbow and then press. Come back down nice and slow, lead with your elbow and press. If this is challenging for you, you can just take it to the upright row, or drop down and wait to see if you can go overhead, or go as far as you can up overhead. So even if you can just go a little bit, that's okay. We want to start to get some good strength through those arms. But if you can, I do want you to try to press all the way up overhead. Let's do 3 more on this side. And if you really feel like you're really trying to pull that weight up, the weight is too heavy. So if you need to go down lower, that is okay. And let's just do 1 more, and then what we're gonna do is just switch sides. And again, I want you to pay attention. Does one side feel different than the other? Squeeze and press. Lead with that elbow, remember? Lead with that elbow and press. Does one side feel harder than the other? Do they both feel about the same? Do they both feel kind of weak? Or do they both feel pretty strong? Is your upper body stronger than your lower body? If so, that's a problem, but a fixable problem. All right, let's do 5 more. Start to feel that burn kind of right in the front of that shoulder, right kind of at the ball of that muscle there. Lead with that elbow all the way up, turn and press. Let's just do 2 more. Notice that you stay in control the entire time. You're controlling on the way down too. I don't want you to be here and kind of swing it down. That means the weight's probably too heavy as well. Okay, go ahead, and I just want you to hang on to the weight just in front. We just have 1, and now I want you to step, step, march, march, step, step. Bring that sequence in from an earlier video. Step, step, march, march, step, step. As we cool it down, I do want to show you 1 more balance exercise that tends to kind of trip people up, but can be really helpful, especially if you're struggling with your balance. Let's just do 3 more full rounds, 2 more, and last one. Okay, go ahead and set that weight down. You actually don't need a weight for this one, but I do recommend having a chair or something, because this one involves a higher level balance that tends to be a little bit harder than it initially seems. What I want you to do is start 1 foot in front of the other. but get into a position where you can stand there. So if you need to move your foot out, like in the previous video, you can. Okay, I would highly recommend just slightly hanging onto something first or standing in the corner of a wall for this one. What I want you to do, once you find a stable position, I want you to turn your head side to side. Like I said, hang on to something if you need to, especially for the first few times, especially if you haven't ever done this before. If you're getting dizzy, all you need to do is just kind of switch your gaze and not actually turn your head. You can actually just kind of look one way and then the other with your eyes. But if you feel okay, the turning your head sideways is going to be harder. This mimics like if you're ever in a grocery store or just in a big crowd where you just find your head kind of swiveling all the time. And this can trip people up if you do not have great balance. So this is one thing to practice. Now I want you to switch. Find that position, just kind of look forward, get your bearings if you do feel a little dizzy. And if your dizziness is not resolving, please sit down. Okay, now if you feel comfortable, you're going to turn your head side to side. Now remember, the closer your feet are together, the harder it's going to be. And I want you to feel like your ankles and feet are really starting to work here. If you're in a really easy position, this may not feel the most challenging. So I want you to find a position where you do have to work a little bit. And usually you stay here for about 30 seconds or so. You can also count the head turns of about 15. 3, 2, and that one usually trips people up. So this is a good thing to practice. That not only just standing here, but then we have to be able to move too. Okay, so as we cool it down, what I want you to do to start with is you can hang on to the object that you were just hanging on to, and I just want you to take that leg out to the side in a comfortable position. And then we're just gonna take it out to the front. And then we're gonna make an L where you're coming front and side. Loosening up that hip joint a little bit. Sometimes our hips can get really stiff. Making that L. And if you need to, you can take just small steps here. And I want you to switch. Start going forwards. Add in the side, just the side right now. And then now we're gonna combine the two. You're gonna go side, front. Make that L, side, front. Just start to loosen those up a little bit. 3, 2, and 1. I actually do want you to sit in the chair for just 2 stretches. I don't do a ton of stretching, just static stretching, because I find that movement can be much more effective. But there are a couple things that we typically do. So I want you to sit and point your toe up. And all I want you to do is just bend forward a little bit. You don't have to try to touch your toe. You don't have to try to go down super far, but just bend. So you just feel a stretch in that the back of your leg. Usually I just kind of like to try to coordinate breathing here. And now I want you to switch to the other side. Same thing, extend that toe out and then lean forward. Just hold for a few seconds and then go ahead and come back up. And now I want you to actually go back to the other side. So still I want you to bend that leg up and stick that other leg out. Now, what I want you to try to do, straighten both legs. Cross that top leg, that right leg above your knee, and walk it back and see if you can bend that knee. If you can't, and we're down here, that's okay. But I want you to be able to work towards being able to bend that knee up and kind of let this top knee fall to the side. And just hold for a few seconds. This is putting socks on, shoes on, so this is something to really get proficient at, and I want you to switch to the other side. So cross that left leg now over. See if you can work it up above the knee. Bend that knee if you can. You can also do this laying down if this is too intense for you. And just try to breathe here. And go ahead and bring that leg down. Okay, now for the special offer. We are cooled down, we are ready, your joints are hopefully feeling good. Again, we want to feel better after the workout than before we came in. We don't want to feel worse. Now, one of the most exciting things, if you found this to be very helpful and your joints feel better, you feel stronger, even just in a couple of days, I want you to keep this momentum going. With this special offer, we have launched our signature program, which is called the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. We have helped adventurers or people that didn't even know they were adventurers truly find success without going through surgery or without going through risky procedures or relying months on cortisone injections. If you want to be able to find pain relief, find strength, and be able to get back to the things you love, like even just simply walking around the neighborhood, playing with your grandkids, getting up and down from the floor, doing stairs, but also some other things like hiking, biking, running even. All of these things are possible even if you have arthritis. And we have packaged this all into one program that is accessible to you right now. And like I said in the beginning, the main message of this last video is if you don't take action, you will not see results. So I want to give you everything we have in order to help you take action. I am with you on this journey, and I have seen this blueprint work time and time again. Even if you have bone-on-bone arthritis and think that there's not much you can do to help it, I promise you there is. At the blueprint, you're going to get 10 full-length videos. They're arthritis-friendly and they're in a progressive way where they start easier and continue to progress into weights, into higher level stuff, and some of us may even get to jumping and things like that, which I know may sound crazy right now, but it is entirely possible. We also touch on anti-inflammatory eating, a lot on pain and what you need to know, what pain to push through, and when to kind of rein it in, what to do when you have flare-ups, and all kinds of different things inside this Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. And now it is at a very special price for you right now. And I want you to go ahead and click the button below, that green button at the end of the page, to go to the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint so you can see how many lives have truly been changed by this and how possible it is for you to achieve those things that you always wanted to do and have just been struggling or spinning your wheels trying to do. Again, my name is Dr. Alyssa Kuhn, and thank you so much for sticking with me on this challenge. Again, showing up for yourself every single day, and I want you to continue to show up for yourself as well.